surrounding yourself with people that will elevate you, that will drive you forward, that are very like-minded to yourself, is not something that, you know, is always common. And I saw recently there's been a couple comments that kind of ask why or how you can find people that are quite similar to you in the reason of basically just sharing, bouncing off ideas, sharing knowledge. Having like-minded people around you does actually really help. And how did I kind of find a couple people that are also like-minded? So realistically, it's very difficult. Like, for a very long time, I would say that I hadn't really found people that love to be driven, love to be I mean, like, maybe like passionate about the same things that you're passionate, I should say. And, really love and value self-progression, or just wanting to be better than you were yesterday, and just self-development in general. So how the kind of people, to be fair, I've got the friends I know, not everyone is gonna be interested in that, and that's fine. Like, it's just life. I mean, life, I guess you have like different people with different interests, different opinions, different passions, whatever. So not everyone you meet is gonna be into that kind of thing, that kind of self-improvement, self-development vibe, I'd say. But that's fine. Like, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't make you any less of a person. And, just because you're not into that doesn't mean that you should feel bad or just think of someone in a negative way. That's the thing. Like that's what I want to kind of get across, because this is not like a cult or anything like that. This is just you're coming together with share like-minded people, and your perspective is not necessarily always the right thing. That's the beauty of things, because you can always learn from people. And just because I'm telling you one thing doesn't mean necessarily that you should go out there and do that religiously. Like, it's trial and error, it's experience, it's your own, use your own senses to come to a conclusion. Test things that work for you, understand things that don't work for you, and find your own strengths and navigate through your weaknesses. But when it comes to finding people that are very similar and like-minded people, it's very difficult. Like, it's only recently that, like, I tried to get a couple of my friends to be into this, and I've seen a big change in, I would say, from my close friends, a handful of people are very driven into this. And I'm quite lucky to have these people in my life, because we weren't always on the same page on these topics, and it's only like in the last 2 months, 3 months, 4 months that they were way more passionate about this. And once you kind of trying to explain to your friends that this might be the reason to do things, then it just becomes, it kind of like they kind of understand, and they kind of acknowledge you as a person. I think that's very important, because deep down and realistically, the quote, you are the average of the 5 people you spend your time with, is actually so true. Because the small things that we pick up, the small cues, the small, the language, the behaviors, the thinking, when you're constantly around groups of people, the same groups of people, that's your environment, and it shapes you into who you are. So it is very important to make sure that environment that you're in is 100% aligned with your beliefs, your core beliefs, and also your future. So make sure that is number one, the case. Number two, once you've identified that, you'll probably start to realize certain people aren't necessarily going to be or fit that criteria. And this is when you kind of, And this is obviously this is not black and white, because I'm not going to go out there and say just because they don't fit your criteria, don't be friends with them, because that's definitely not the right approach. But just because they don't fit your criteria, or like your, the path that you're trying to go on to, the mindset that you're trying to adopt, you can start to understand, maybe why is it that they don't fit this criteria? What do they value the most? For example, if you're hanging around with a lot of people that do, they party every weekend, that do drugs, that, I don't know, that basically is definitely not the path that you want to go down into. You need to understand like what kind of person you are. Are you someone that gets influenced a lot easily? Because personally, that is me. I think if my friends are doing something, then it's slightly easier for me to say yes, of course. So I need to make sure that people are doing the right kind of things that would also help me, benefit me, but also help benefit them as well. So I think it's about, just, if someone is completely out of your alignment, then there are times where you have to let go of those people. And it's a sad reality, but you just got to understand, like, it's part of life. But you've built that awareness up that that you are able to take that action for the greater good of yourself. I think also, once you're in your own flow state, you will start to kind of attract people that are very similar and like-minded to yourself. But you got to be in that flow state first. And I think you got to be comfortable with being alone on that journey, because it is a lonely road, but it doesn't mean there's going to be no one there with you. Like, so it's just all about doing it, getting the actions done, especially through the good, the bad days, just showing up for yourself. And eventually you will find those people. I'm not going to say how, because it's obviously it can be in any kind of way, but you will find those people and they will come into your life. But the number one thing is to kind of be true to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Realize why you're doing what you're doing, and show up every single day. That's the number one thing. And then, once people start to see this is something that's happened to me, like, because I've been off social media for the last a year and 9 months now. People have asked me, and even some of my friends have actually, 2 of my friends have told me that they've also quit social media, or like they've stopped using it, or they that they're grateful for me to kind of do it, explain the situation, how I've experienced it, and they've tried it for themselves and it's benefited them. And that's really nice to hear, and that's really positive to hear. So it's all about just doing it for yourself first, and then it will have a positive impact on your environment. That's what I truly believe. And now, like, I've got a couple of 3 friends that 2 or 3 friends that consistently really want to express their goals and really want to improve themselves. And every single Sunday we jump on a call, on like a group call, and we just talk about how our week has been and what we're trying to achieve in the upcoming week, what our kind of short-term goals are, or things that we just really want to fix in our lives. For example, one of the things that I wanted to fix was just me being a back sleeper. Like, I used to sleep on my stomach a lot, and that's really bad for your posture, your breathing. But just something small as that, it doesn't have to be huge. small things, small habits that you want to kind of change. And you know, having that group call every single week is, maybe look forward to that call first of all, to share the things that I've learned, but also it allows me to be accountable as well, because if something hasn't gone the right way, then I would just explain. I'll be like, this has not happened this way. And my friends would also be like, they'd share maybe their ideas on how or why, from another perspective, it might have been the case, and how I can probably approach it in their opinion, and that will provide a different level of insight. So, but the thing, like, you got to start doing this yourself first, and then people will see. But also, even as simply as just being on this channel, where a lot of people have now left nice comments and positive, like, it just means that we are all kind of in a like-minded position here. So it's really good to, like, just drop a comment and share with the next person. I'm pretty sure, like, everyone here is on that kind of journey as well.